Worksheet management in Excel is all about how you handle the worksheets inside a workbook. Now if you look at the book I'm in at the moment, we have just one worksheet. This is denoted by the tab at the bottom down here. You can see this one is called Profit Loss 2018. Just to the right of that is a small plus button which allows me to click on that if ever I need to add a new worksheet. When we click on that, it puts in a new sheet. Excel will give it a random name: Sheet 2, Sheet 3, Sheet 4, Sheet 5. To rename a sheet, you can double click your left mouse button over the top of the tab. When you double click, it will highlight the current name and wait for you to overtype it. So we could now call this Sheet for Profit. And I press the Enter key to complete the name change. I can add another sheet by clicking on the plus button. Again, to rename this, I could double click and type another name. Sales for year. Now all of the sheets can be color coded, not the actual sheet but the tabs themselves. So for example, if I want to change the color of this tab for sales for year, with my right mouse button I click over the name. As I right click over the name, it pops up a context menu, and one of the options I get is tab color. I can then color code this just by clicking on one of the color swatches. When I click on another sheet, I can right click on that tab, choose tab color, and choose another color from the list. And back to my Profit Loss 2018. You can see the other two sheets are color coded. When you have a workbook that's got several sheets in, sometimes you want to move them into a particular order: date order, month order, yearly order. This is quite simple to do. With your mouse, you move over the tab of the sheet you wish to move. So for example, we want to move this Profit Loss 2018 over to the far right, so it comes after the sales for the year. This is a simple drag and drop. With your left mouse button, you grab the tab of the sheet you want to move. So with my mouse pointer over that tab, I'm going to hold down the left mouse button. You'll notice you get a small black triangular shape appear, and that indicates where you're going to drop the sheet. If I now just slide my mouse to the right, you'll see that black triangular shape jump, and when I see it jump to after that green tab, I can let go of the mouse and I've now moved the sheet. So moving sheets is pretty straightforward. You literally click and drag left or right. When you have multiple sheets in your book, you can move very quickly from sheet to sheet by using the keyboard. And on the keyboard, you're going to hold the Control key down and locate the two keys called Page Up and Page Down. And by pressing Page Up, you can go to the left, and pressing Page Down, it will travel to the right. So you can see it as I press Page Up, it moves to the previous sheet and the next sheet. Page Down moves to the right. So this is useful if you had multiple sheets, you need to quickly move from sheet to sheet, but you need to see what's on them very briefly. So that's the Control, Page Up and Page Down keys. Now you'll notice on this particular book we have multiple sheets, and you can tell by the sheet tabs down the bottom of the screen. Now I've got so many in this book that they disappear behind this scroll bar. Now to get to these, I can click on the little green arrows over here to scroll across all of the sheets. As I click on this right facing arrow or the left facing arrow to come back. Now there is a quick way of seeing all of the sheets and jumping directly to the one you want. Again, by coming over to this little corner area in the bottom left corner and clicking the right mouse button over those arrow buttons. When I right click, it pops up a box with a list of all the sheet names in. That way I can click on one and click OK, and it takes me directly to that sheet. The final thing with worksheet management is if you need to hide a sheet. Sometimes you have in a workbook sheets that are of no relevance to anyone else but you. Maybe you've used a sheet to put names that you refer to at a later date, or maybe you do some calculations on there but you don't need to see them in the book all the time, but they need to be there. Rather than clutter up your workbook with lots of tabs down the bottom that aren't really relevant to most users, you could temporarily hide them. And to hide a sheet, you would move onto the tab, click the right mouse button and go to hide. Now it doesn't delete the sheet, it hides it. It's still in this book. You'll notice I've now just got 2 sheets in here. If I want to bring any hidden sheets back, I would right click on the tab and choose the option unhide. This will bring up a small box that will list all of the hidden sheets, and I can choose the one I want to unhide and click OK. And that's your worksheet management.